Okay, so here we are trying to play a little bit of catch up here. I'm going to sneak through the grass, as you can see, without getting our Route 1 encounter. Pretty useful. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is the right one. Redo. Okay, so here we are. The catch-up episode. You can see us sneak through the Route 1 grass. Well, the second patch of grass. Um, and we're just going to be moving on. Yeah, here we go. This is what it was taking a second. So I needed to get the speed up going. So we got a few trainers we're going to have to walk through. We have the How fight here. I don't remember exactly how I cut this. I'm recording this, I'll admit, sometime after, but Litton solos How, no problem. Pichu, not really a threat. Rowlet, obviously weak to John Cena, so just kind of vulnerable. We then run to our actual Route 1 encounter, which is Slowpoke. Yay, Slowpoke. Slowpoke's insanely good. Well worth skipping the Route 1 encounter if you can, get lucky enough to actually skip it. We move on to the teacher fight. Always a challenge, but with Slowpoke, as you'll see, also named Slumps. We get a quick yawn in. We're going to curse up a little bit just to get some extra defense and make the Popplio kind of suffer. And mostly so that we can tackle it down in just a few turns is the goal. Here we go. Now we just kind of go for the win. Yeah, it comes up and it already sees that it does more damage with Water Gun now, so Slumps has no problem taking out the Popplio. We then go to the city. I forget what it's called. We get Padoodle, or, well, I think I name it Padoodle again in this one. I don't know why I cut so weird, other than the fact that it takes multiple Great Balls to get Furfrou. Kind of being a pain in the ass, but it's a really good Pokemon, so well worth it. We then go into the fight. Nothing really impressive to see, which is why I skipped right to the end here, except Slowpoke living on 1 HP. Impressive as that is. Pick up a Ghastly at the, what do you call it, the cemetery. I know what I'm talking about. Again, I'm showing the whole capture. I'm not sure why I can already tell you after having edited other of these catch-up videos before recording this one that I eventually do a better job editing. My editing skills are kind of shit, so you'll have to forgive me. Yeah, then we go down to the Sandy Cave here, looking for that sweet, sweet Zubat encounter. Don't get it, of course. We get the Psyduck. But it's okay as long as it... Oh, it doesn't have Cloud9. So this is kind of a worst-case scenario. This is a 15% chance to run into a Psyduck without Cloud9. And I'm doing very rough math, because obviously it's a 30% chance to encounter Psyduck. Each Psyduck is a 50-50 chance of getting Cloud9 or Damp. In this case, we got the Damp, so it's roughly a 15% chance to run into the worst-case scenario, which we did. On top of that, Psyduck decided it was really cool to not stay inside of the Pokeball. Or at least not until I threw an actual Pokeball at him. So following the Psyduck, we come up to Route 2, where I eventually just run through the grass for the Super Potion, I guess. We get Ekans, and this is the good shit. We get Ekans with Intimidate. Pretty good find. Not the best find necessarily on this route, but hey, Ekans Intimidate, that's nothing wrong with that. We throw a quick nickname in here. I was going to do Snake Attack, but I figured that was just a little too easy, so I changed it to Snack Attack because it seemed a little less obvious and kind of a fun little thing to do rather than just calling it basic little Snake Attack. Not impressive, admittedly, but hey, I'm not always at the top of my creativity game. So then we get to the Totem Raticate. This is always an interesting fight. We're just going to lead Padoodle. And we're just going to set up a workup on its turn 1. I'm prepared for that, exactly, the scary face. I'm just trying to get as much damage in as I can. Should be able to two-shot it with the headbutt here, I believe, with the workup. Maybe not, unless we roll high. Dodging the Super Fang, always nice. Yeah, we do need the 3-shot, unfortunately. Now, we got 2 tail whips on us, which is definitely rough. But Oran Berry keeps us healthy, and Fur Coat protects us from the Rotata. So, ultimately, it's a pretty easy, pretty simple fight. Padoodle just doing Padoodle things. We run over here to get our, whatever the hell this cave is called, encounter, which is the Rotata, which is awesome because it's what's going to eventually lead us to getting better odds of finding Bagon on a future route. I actually forget what I nickname it here. Not that it really matters. If it goes quickly enough here, I'll leave it in. Oh, yeah, I just call it the Fat Rat. I'm really creative and boring this time. As you can see, it's a little hard to type when you're at 1,000 times speed. Anyways, we catch the Spearow, which ultimately just means that we have Hawlucha. As we can see, we do the standard Hawlucha trade with the Spearow. And Charmander returns to our team here. I spend a shitload of money on luxury balls because why the fuck not? I've got like 200 Pokeballs as backup, so money not... I mean, obviously if I sell everything, money's not a huge problem, as you can see when you're basically 10 million gold. Or Poke or dollars or whatever the hell the thing is. Anyways, we're just going to move on. We get our encounter in the little grass patch here. We get the electric bird thing. What do you call it? Oricorio. That's what it's called. There, I can see the name now. This thing, if I recall, as we're about to see, it takes asinine levels of Pokeballs. It does not want to stay in. It is being a little piece of shit the whole time. I'm probably going to have to cut some of this out. So following that, we go to the fight with this... Oh, wait, did I skip? I must have skipped the How fight in my cuts. Whoopsies. Nothing really to see. Padoodle kind of just carries the team through every one of these early fights because this Furfuro Pokemon is totally legit and balanced. So we just get into the Butterfree fight. We bait out all the... Or we don't bait out. We just wait out all the Silver Winds, force it into Roost, and then let Cha just do Cha things until it dies, giving us the Roost TM. Before moving on to... how do you pronounce his name? Hala, it looks like? Yeah, Hala, if I'm reading it right. Get into his fight, and I believe this is where I make the first of my mistakes this particular run. We lead Slowpoke, always a good idea, because it lets you set up Curse here, with the Revenge always just not doing a whole lot of damage to begin with. Now, crits are always a threat, but I don't believe his Machop has Karate Chop, so it's just a slightly, basically just turns all of his moves into high crit. Nice little confusion, and a confusion proc allows Slowpoke to clean up this fight pretty easily. Then comes up the Crab Brawler, and this is where I completely forget that it has Pursuit. Thankfully, we've got on several layers of Curse, so even the Pursuit, as you can see, does not do that much damage. We're just going to have Slumps kind of tank through this. We go for the Yawn because here's the thing. I'm starting to get a little nervous. So we got to stay in for one more turn is the goal. And now, on its first turn of sleep, is where we're going to make the switch, and at least it would be. But then he healed, and now we got to do that. So now we make the switch, because I forgot about the heal. Bring in Shaw, let him do it all. Crabrawler, as you can see, tries to get the Pursuit off, but sleeps through it. And then Shaw just goes to town, taking out everything else that Hala can throw at us. Including the... There it is. There's the Makahita. Okay, flinch, always a pain in the ass, but what are you going to do? Quick Aerial Ace, done. So now we get to go to our route, whatever the hell it's called, encounter. This one, going for that Rockruff, going for that sweet, sweet puppy, and we get Machop. Sad day again, but as you will see in the rest of the playthrough, Machop actually turns out to be a quite valuable Pokemon. Not that I would ever be disappointed in the Machop encounter here, because Machamp is a pretty damn decent Pokemon, and all the more better once you actually, get Machamp. Just sad that I didn't get the Rockruff. Again, the only Pokemon in this entire game that I actually give a shit about. And to the best of my knowledge, hasn't been seen outside of this game. Maybe they brought it into Sword and Shield DLC. I've never bothered to look because I don't have the Sword and Shield DLC. Regardless, I'm showing the entire fight again for reasons that are still baffling me because it's just adding runtime to this stupid video. that is meant to be a historical record. We smash cut, as you can see here, because this is where I had my idea to thief off leftovers. And it takes several encounters, as you can see here, before we finally run into the goddamn Munchlax. And we run into the, I think it's a 50-50 shot that they are holding leftovers, question mark. Don't quote me on that one. It might be a full 100% that they hold leftovers. Either way, after fighting, as you can see, again, way too many Pokemon, we finally, well, eventually, I don't remember how many Pokemon I fought myself, and I don't know why I left all this in other than to prove how stupidly hard it is to find the damn Munchlax. And then we just quick thief off his leftovers, and we get the hell out of there. Alright, so the next big fight is these two, or at least her, but there's the twin pair of them, whatever. John Cena going in here. Just going to make quick work of both of them. Neither the Smoochum nor the Glaceon are a huge threat to John Cena, simply because Glaceon has no physical attack, and the burn means that it doesn't really do a lot of damage outside of a crit. We left him in on a crit, but they didn't roll the crit. I probably should have switched out there. A little bit of a mistake, a little bit of an aggressive play, but what are you going to do? Move on to route whatever this is. We catch the other, well, not the other, but one of the other Pokemon on the Bagon route. This is the optional one. You only need to catch Yangoose or Rattata to get Bagon, since one spawns during the day and one spawns at night. But we got both. Moving on to the How fight, as you can see. This is pretty straightforward. How not a huge threat in this particular fight, especially with John Cena. Just going to go to town with fire. Does eat the, I want to say Breakneck Blitz? There it is. Yeah, Breakneck Blitz. Again, not a huge threat to John Cena. It does do a considerable amount of damage, but he's fine, and we take the Dartrix out. Then sends out his Pikachu. A quick swap to, I want to say Padoodle is our bring in. There it is. Padoodle going to make short work of Pikachu. Headbutt on a early headbutt is just so powerful, as we've talked about before. Yeah, static, a little unfortunate, but what are we going to do? It's still fine. Still an easy two-shot. The Pikachu poses no threat to Padoodle at all. And then we go into, I believe, Noibat. It is indeed the Noibat. And we just leave Padoodle to do Padoodle things. You know, Noibat be damned. It's not a huge threat again to Padoodle. We do have the Eevee to follow up. It's the last of his Pokemon. I think we just go with Padoodle again for the quick and easy win. I think it's 2 headbutts, though. It is 2 headbutts. But what are we going to do? It's not, again, Padoodle's really good. If you've never used Furfurrow, I highly recommend it. This thing is really good early in the game, especially. We pick up our own Eevee egg from the daycare. We then have to spend way too much time trying to hatch the damn thing, as you will see here in just a moment, when we're like, hey, we should probably go hatch it. And we're going to hatch it at the Pikachu Valley because that's a nice, easy, quick spot to hatch it without losing an encounter on a different route. It then allows us to run back to the same route where the daycare is to catch our actual whatever the hell that route is. I want to say it's the actual farm, actually, instead of a route. But either way, we get the Lillipup. Not quite the Mareep we were hoping for, but what are you going to do? Or the Mudsdale, or Berry, or whatever the horse thing is. Also would have been a good encounter, but didn't quite get it. So we snag the Lillipup eventually. As you can see, he's also being a little bit of a pain to stay inside the ball. But we get there. Not on that particular ball, obviously. But we get there eventually. There it is. Pick up a Metapod on the route above the Lillipup and get into the emo blonde guy's, I forget his name, fight. Leads with the disguised Zoroark or Zorora or however you pronounce his fucking name. So a quick brick break from Cha takes care of that. Aerial Ace should deal with Zubat just fine. Yep, and then now we got Cha in against that thing, type Null. I think it takes 2 brick breaks. It does take 2 brick breaks, but again, Shaw's at full HP after sweeping this guy, so no big deal. Quick and easy blonde emo fight. And that brings us to where we're just going to quick level up everybody, get them into position for the water trial fight, including but not limited to evolving Ekans into Arbok. So we got a bigger snack attack. And that brings us to the end of this little catch-up.